Good afternoon. It's Robert and Joya Miller with another exciting real estate update for you today. As always, we'll start with a joke. Do you have a joke for us?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
What kind of building weighs the least?
A high rise? I don't know.
A lighthouse.
Oh, give me a break. Wow, you and the bad dad jokes. That's pretty good though. I like it. A lighthouse. I got it. Okay. Has COVID-19 forced you to wear glasses and a mask at the same time? If so, you may be entitled to condensation. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Except when it's 110 outside and less condensation happens.
Yeah,
Did
but
you notice that? Yeah.
that's little reward for 110 out. So, okay, this day in history.
Oh yeah, I love this part.
Or I should say this month in history. 1983, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. 1954, the words "under God" are added to the United States Pledge of Allegiance.
Important. 1954. Okay.
1928, Amelia Earhart became the first female to fly across the Atlantic. That was June 18th.
When a woman focused there, it's woman and God.
Yeah. 1858, Abraham Lincoln declares a house divided cannot stand. And in 1815, Napoleon is defeated by a European coalition at the Battle of Waterloo.
I wonder what Abraham Lincoln was referring to at that point.
A house divided, so you can't have...
Some important vote, I assume.
No, it was prior to the Civil War, the South and the North.
So he's speaking of South and North. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Prior to the Civil War.
There we go.
Actually have a few more this month in history. 1974, the first UPC scanner goes online, June 26, in a Troy, Ohio supermarket.
Wow.
I had no idea they had been there. 1974.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Wow.
It's been that long either.
1893, the Ferris wheel is introduced, June 21st at the Chicago World's Fair.
World's Fair.
Christopher Sholes receives a patent for his typewriter in 1868.
Shoals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Good stuff.
I was thinking I had one more.
Thank you for that glimpse.
Yep. Okay, so just a little bit of positive information coming hopefully into recovery and out of the recession that we're in. Hopefully real estate's going to continue to lead the way. So a few positive notes. Snapping back, consumer spending shattered all-time growth records in May, rising 17.7%. So as shoppers
had nothing else to do but shop.
Well, as they're coming out, as shoppers freed from coronavirus lockdowns came out in earnest, excluding food sales, the 16.8% jump in retail, that's retail overall, was more than double estimates and added to an upbeat mood on Wall Street. This Tuesday, stocks rose 500 points.
Nice.
Thank you. I hope that keeps going.
Yes.
Another positive that's come out is savings. It appears that whenever it is safe enough to go back to regular activity and broadened spending habits again, consumers may have a well of money to draw on. Total savings have surged 14%.
Nice.
So, money market funds have swelled as well, rising 30%. So, it's all good positive news to put in personal coffers.
Yeah.
One thing that everybody that has a student loan needs to be aware of, there was some provisions put into the CARES Act to cover folks that do have student loans that can be deferred. Studies show more than a third of student loan borrowers are not aware that stipulations in the CARES Act allows most to defer payments until October. So you can hold that off until the end of the year.
Nice.
Survey found that half of Gen Z respondents didn't fully understand their loans or the program.
Get help with this, please.
Yeah, so you have that available to you,
Yeah.
so take advantage of that.
Probably, best advice would be call your loan holder on that and just ask them.
Right.
Is there a deferment available?
Right, yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to them and your mortgage provider.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the questions at the top of everybody's list, what are home prices going to do? So we turn to the experts, and
As always.
we'll go through the list here of the biggest prognosticators. I always want to say procrastinators. Prognosticators.
Right.
And what they're saying. So CoreLogic is predicting a 1.5% drop in home values this year. Overall, for the year. Haas is predicting a 1% drop, and Zillow, one that a lot of people rely on, is predicting a 0.7% drop.
Okay.
Home price expectation survey came in with a decline of 0.3%, and then we start going upwards. Fannie Mae is increasing predicting an increase of 0.4%. Freddie Mac has an increase prediction of 2.3%, pretty substantial.
Wow, okay.
Zelman and Associates is 3%. National Association of Realtors, of course, they're going to have a positive spin, but they're coming in at 3.8%. And Mortgage Bankers Association topped the list. They're predicting a 4% increase. So
I'm going to go with 3%. I'm going to go with Zelman.
yeah, that's
Increase.
probably going to be about right.
We are already seeing prices rising right now.
A lot of full price offers.
Yeah, a lot of full price offers, and the market is just super tight. So inventory is dictating sellers to hold their price to get their price, as long as it's priced reasonably. Obviously, if it's priced way out of appraisal range, no one's going to pay that.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I say that these numbers are all going to get blown out of the water, and we'll be closer to 6%.
Ooh, wow.
You heard it
Okay.
here first, 6%.
All right. I guess I'm a little modest.
We'll see. I may be way off base, but I just think that it's going to be a very good year when it's all said and done. The bottom line, home prices are not going to change dramatically this year. So
Right.
If you're holding out thinking that we're going to have a huge price drop to make a purchase, don't do that, because that's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing prices rise, but not drastically.
So we've been anxiously awaiting for our monthly stat report. This is put out by Tom Ruff and Armless. And as anticipated, the May numbers were horrendous. However, it's very interesting to see how June is shaping up, and he kind of goes over how this June relates to this May report. Yeah. So, as predicted, year-over-year sales were down 33.7%. Ouch.
Yeah, May was not a good May.
Now, right off the bat, we get a contradictory graph here, and it says new inventory is down 21.5%.
That's the
Sales
thing.
are down, but so is inventory. Mm-hmm. So that's where the May-June thing comes in. We're seeing a drastic change very quickly, and that's highly unusual for real estate stats. Stats normally are very slow-moving. Total inventory also is decreased by 21%. So both of those are mirroring each other, new inventory and total inventory. So as fast as they're coming on the market, they're getting scooped up and taken off. More information to back that up. Our month supply of inventory, 2.46, so well into a seller's market.
Seller's market, yep. Don't they say like 5 months inventory is where it's a little more balanced between buyer and seller?
Yeah, even 4, 4 to 5
okay.
is much more. 2.46 is pretty low.
We're pretty low.
And well into a seller's market.
Yeah.
The now here's where things kind of shift from that bad news. Average new list prices are up 5.4%. So again, this is playing to what we're going to talk about here in a minute about June. The average sale price is also up 1.4% year over year.
Okay.
And so again, I'm anticipating that this is going to accelerate rapidly.
Okay. So
And that we're going to end up closer to 6% when we're done.
Yeah. So although list price is up the 5%, the average sales price is really only up 1.4.
But remember,
year over year.
Remember, these numbers are sales that happened during the shutdown.
Yeah, because this is May statistics.
Right. The new listings is coming out of quarantine and back into operation.
Yeah.
So an increase is forecast in June for both average and median sales. Kind of goes without saying. We knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
Average days on market. This is interesting. We have dropped to 50 on average. Days on market is 50. And last year we were at 65. So again, this goes along with the inventory. People are scooping up homes quicker and they're getting under contract much quicker.
And I think June is probably even down more for that. It just seems like homes aren't sitting on the market that long. Again, if they're priced well and they show well,
they're gone.
They're gone.
Okay, so we'll go through the commentary by Tom Ruff of the information market. The housing numbers do not behave like a speedboat. They're a barge. Then 2020 happened. I thought that was a great way to lead into this. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. 2020 it's just a little hard. We
It's
we
like
thought we were able to predict it like this, real slow moving, but
it's like a ping pong ball. It is, or a rubber ball. It's just all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 3.4% gain in yearly sales volume in March. So we were having a spectacular year to start. Was followed by the most rapid short-term decline in the history of Armless. And they've been doing this for going on over 20 years. They've been keeping track of these stats. So this is historically the biggest drop, 27.1% in April and 33.7% in May. Wow.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
Sales prices for closed sales were at $305,000 by May 21st. This number had fallen to $290,000. So we had dropped 15,000, a 5% drop in just 43 days.
Yeah. That one
Again,
month and a half period or a month.
Yep, a new record for sure. Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
The May closing numbers are now behind us, and our market is on a completely new trajectory. This is where June comes in, and things are just heading in the opposite direction. The 2020 total surpassed the 2019 total up until March 13th. So again, we're having a record year till March 11th. And March 19th is kind of the date everybody uses as when everything hit the fan. The 2020 total, March 11th. Okay. Properties under contract continued their descent for just over 30 days, and it bottomed out April 15th. So that was kind of when we got through that, about 30 days. 42 days later, only 42 days, this is where the speed bump thing comes in. On May 27th, listings under contract regained their advantage over 2019. So we're already, again, doing better than we were in 2019 after only
year over year
42 days of recovery.
Right.
The current number of listings under contract are now at their highest point in 2020, surpassing the high water mark in March. What this means simply is that year over year, sales gains in June and July are very possible and should not come as a surprise. So, again, we talked last week rather, that we expected to see record summer sales numbers, and I still stand firm to that I think we're going to see that.
Yeah.
Unprecedented 30-day drop in contracts followed by an unprecedented 30-day rise, and voila, future closings will be back on track. Does this mean COVID-19 was just a large speed bump for housing? That's what the data is telling us right now. And I firmly believe that that's where it's going to end up coming out. We'll know more in the next 2 months.
Yep.
Quantifier, it's 2020. Who knows? We may have aliens next month, so we'll see.
What was the big dust cloud?
Oh, that's right. We have a
Coming up
giant
from
dust cloud coming
oh my
next. Yeah.
goodness. Wow.
First,
Wow.
fortunately, we haven't seen the giant murder
Hornets.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't made it
Not
yet.
here to
So
Arizona.
hopefully they don't come
Yeah.
either.
Right.
Okay, so very unprecedented and interesting numbers coming out, and it'll be exciting to see what next month's numbers come out to be.
Yeah.
So you promised us some buyer tips last week. So what have you got for us?
Well, let's take a look here. I have 5. First one is very most important. Be pre-qualified. Get pre-qualified. So that means talking to a lender of your choice, and this doesn't mean the lender that you have to stay with necessarily, but talk to at least one lender. One good lender, either recommended by your realtor or that you currently use, in your regular banking.
Get your pre-qualification form done and ready and in your realtor's hands.
Right. This saves time and eliminates your frustration. Losing out on the house that you fall in love with because you're not ready. You don't have that form in hand. The Arizona contract actually requires it be accompanied with the contract. So you have to submit this pre-qualification form saying that you've talked to a lender and that you are pre-qualified for a loan with that contract, with the amount that you're looking to purchase the home for. Along with that, know your budget. Your lender is going to say, "Oh yeah, you're pre-qualified up to $500,000," but maybe your budget, you like to travel, you like to eat out occasionally, and so $500,000 is not in your budget. Possibly, it's not what you're comfortable with. So that brings me to number 2. Number 2 is have a budget. So number 1, be pre-qualified. But number 2, almost more importantly, is have a budget. So take some time to sit down and write down your monthly budget, your whole household budget, and know how much you are spending eating out, how much you are spending maintaining your car. That way you know what do you spend per month on your housing. And just know what you want to afford again. So number 3, be ready. Be ready, right? We talked about this. Make sure that when you do find that house or houses that you want to look at and go and look at, that you're ready to make an offer. You're ready to go and look at the house because they come and go so quickly. Our experts are telling us it is a frenzied market right now, and we are feeling it. There are multiple offers being put in on houses. Buyers are putting in multiple offers, trying to find the right house for them. So things are moving quite quickly, so be ready.
Great example just last night. We were with a client, and the wife called and said, "Hey, check this one out. This may be the one." We immediately scheduled a showing. He was ready to go and just dropped what he was doing, and we went and looked at the house at 6 o'clock last night. Julia wrote an offer at 8 o'clock last night, and when we turned on our computer this morning, it had been accepted.
Yep.
So it is happening that fast.
That fast. Number 4, communicate your wants and needs with your realtor. If you're not clear on what you want and what you need, it makes our jobs that much harder. If you don't know for sure, or if you don't know what's vitally important versus what's kind of important, more of a want versus a need, then it's going to make our lives, our jobs harder.
And it's going to frustrate you as well, because we're going to be sending you homes and you're going to be going, "This is not what I want.
I don't like it." Yeah.
This is, even though that may be the kind of criteria that you gave us, that's what we're trying to find for you, and it may not match. So it's very important that we dial that down, and we're looking for exactly what you're wanting.
Absolutely. And with that, one of the other tips, and I forgot this tip, but one of the other tips is you live in a floor plan, not a square footage.
Exactly.
This becomes applicable when you talk about, well, we need anywhere from 18 to 2,000 square feet. But if I show you a home that feels more spacious than maybe 1,600 square feet, maybe it's below 1,800 square foot, but it feels more spacious and it's a very open floor plan and the bedrooms are laid out right, maybe that 18 to 2,000 square footage isn't really what you want or need.
And you don't want to miss out on a great home just because it falls outside of those numbers. Correct. When that floor plan may work for you.
So stepping back here, going back to having a budget and knowing what you're pre-qualified for is the tip. You live in a monthly payment, not the mortgage amount.
Exactly.
Some nice saying and nice way to think about it. Again, it's your monthly budget. What's your monthly housing budget versus the $500,000 house that you never thought you'd be able to afford, but today you can afford it because interest rates are low and maybe your job is going well and things like that. So again, you live in a monthly payment, not in the mortgage amount. And then the tip 2 is you live in the floor plan, not the square footage. So 5th and final tip is if your wants and needs change after you've looked at a couple homes, make sure to communicate that with your realtor. That way they can help you get through those changes and analyze what is in the market that fits your needs.
And your budget as well. If your budget changes, let us know so that we can expand your search and
or reduce your search.
But yeah, again, we don't want to be sending you properties that aren't going to work for your budget.
Right.
Or we don't want you missing homes because you've decided your budget is a little larger than you originally let us know about. So let's work together.
So be pre-qualified right away so you can be ready. Have a budget. Be ready when you find that perfect home. Communicate your wants and needs, and if your needs change, communicate that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll wrap it up here with some local real estate stats. Here in Vistancia Village, there are 32 homes available. The average list price is $392,256, and the average days on market is 56. In Trilogy at Vistancia, our active adult community, there are 55 homes available, an average price of $501,172, and the average days on market is 105 days. And in Sun City Grand, another one of our active adult communities, there are 91 homes available. The average list price is $380,742, and they have been on the market. Average days on market is 80. So,
and we expect Trilogy and Sun City Grand to have a little bit longer days on market right now, just because the home buyers in those neighborhoods have a tendency to be winter visitors.
Right. Yeah, the population isn't half of what it normally is right now. So.
Right. So.
Okay, that's everything that we've got for you. Wish you a great rest of the week, and yeah, we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.